to ASCENT. We're going to see this game unfold in front of our eyes as Oxygen try their best to pull back from what was a devastating loss in the previous map.
Yeah, I think, if anything, this is the map that they are more comfortable on, though. I almost wonder if they picked Haven to try and shift the direction of the veto so that they would get these as the first two maps, maybe feeling a little bit less comfortable after playing against Guild on Split. So I'm not going to sit here and say, like, I think it's going to be exactly the same. I do want to see if they have the mental fortitude, though, to be able to come back from such a devastating defeat and then say, okay, you know what, we're now going to turn things around.
Well, it certainly isn't easy, Tom. 13-0 is crushing, but at least you can just wipe it from your memory because it's such a short space of time. It's not like you lost a map after an hour and a half of battling. It was more like you blinked, you missed it. Now it's time to really see what you can do. Immediately, Team Liquid on the attack side are making pressure on the B side, but Oxygen aren't too worried. They've got a lot of control up on A. They have Cypher covering out for the flank into Heaven, and so they're comfortable to just continue taking these fights. With the fact that they've got a camera down inside Wine, this is a really, really good play potentially. If Liquid move towards this side, they activate the camera and then show Cypher peeking in from side, they might not suspect that Mitez has snuck his way into that little corner.
Yeah, they have used this setup before, though. It was actually something I was going to bring up in the pre-show. This is a setup they like to use, leaving a player behind, faking the info. So if research has been done, maybe Liquid will know, but it seems like Midas, again, is going to get away with murder. He's dead, though. An easy trade. In fact, Scream just going to cook him in the corner, serve him up with a little bit of wine, but now they're walking into a stack.
Weird to put your Astra there, but 13 seconds left. They need to go, and Oxygen, look at that, Tom. They've got a round on the board. They did it. It's taken a while. But, yeah, it is weird. A small thing, but putting Mitez in that corner, he has no escapism. Sometimes, yeah, you can see the smoke go down. Maybe you pull behind it to get you out if things really go bad. But if they start to pressure you like that, especially when they molly, that's where you want it to be a jet, right? Get that dash out, and or even... obviously not in this composition, but where you'll see like a Reyna play there or an Omen, for example. Someone who has the ability to get out without taking those heads-up fights, whereas instead they lose a lot in the form of Mitez.
I will say, I think that in terms of utility left to be placed, there was nothing left. True. So it's like, if anything, you kind of lost someone who now can't really do too much in the form of his utility. So I don't mind it as much as if, say, he still had a load of stars remaining and he didn't invest into a ghost. But... nonetheless, we are going to see a bit of investment coming up. We know that on the defense especially, Liquid are actually quite likely to force into second rounds because they do want to try and get that operator into play. But for now, Yumpy's more than capable. That is really bad timing. Zisto needed to keep his teammate alive while he was in his astral form, and instead, they've just lost two players within the first few seconds by being in very compromising positions. And Yumpy's now won the third duel.
And this is really scary because it's not like the other guys have Vandals, right? Like they'll come in with a huge advantage. And even if they did, they have to retake B. And even if they were able to do that, there's a flanker in the form of Link. And he's on his way up behind, sneaky beaky like. They haven't got a clue. Well, it looks like he's going to come on through the window, which might give it away. But it's just clearing out a lot of information for his teammates. They only have to look at Heaven. The turret's spotting them. Link not going to break the glass. But it looks like the round might almost be over by the time he gets there. That said, there's a lot of duels being lost. Their focus is entirely on the site, and they turn at just the right moment. Okay, Oxygen, they're back in this one at 2 versus 1. The Ghost not able to do it, and Cryptic's up close. Oh, he gets it in the end. Team Liquid, they win out what is a very weak buy from them, but at the perfect timing, trading it back 1-1, now putting the economy of Oxygen in question.
Yeah, a really nice try from the remaining couple of players from Oxygen to bring that back from what was looking almost impossible. It comes down to a 1v1. I didn't even think they'd come close, but the thing is as well, you almost have to look at those initial players and go, what? How does that happen? Like, how does it get to a point where your Cypher falls back into a corner, gives up the angle, and then you're dead? There's nothing you can do. You have to get out of that astral form so quickly that you just don't really stand a chance. That is the main vulnerability when we talk about Astra. And while it seems like after what has been a couple of rounds where Liquid have gone for a hit into A, you can almost understand Oxygen's read of, okay, let's try stacking B. They found information into mid as well, but the rotation hasn't come through because it seems like they still don't know that this is going to be an A hit. And by the time Zistao comes out with anything, the round's basically over.
I mean, realistically, these guys have got to be able to win duels that they shouldn't be. They're up against rifles. It's nowhere near as easy as the previous round was for Liquid. The gap is much higher between them. And Solkis, he's just clearing his back. He's not going to push into Zistow and give him a kill. The timing, oh, look, he even fake steps away, runs back around the corner, and takes Zistow off guard. I expect, if you get 2 kills here, you're going to be very, very happy. And already the first going their way. Okay, there's a Sheriff to play with, one on the site that's dealt with right away. And Turco needs a headshot to make it work, but no. And look, you're not expected to do much in that round. 1 kill, it's not great, it's not bad, it's just, it is what it is. You wipe it from your memory, you move on to the next round now that you're able to get rifles out.
Yeah, this is where we hope things will change a little bit. Of course, the manner in which Liquid actually won their round means they did invest a lot into rifles as well, so they're not playing this as any sort of bonus round, but they have still built up a relative amount of cash. Toronto getting onto that operator, though, this is one of the main difference makers. You're not going to see it massively when it came to the attack of the last map. He wasn't really able to deny a lot of the presence because Liquid were actually fairly passive in a lot of the plays they make. On the defensive side of this map, however, he's going to be roaming around mid. He's going to be looking to brawl. They said in the interview with Zistow that they were looking to fight, and while Liquid definitely looked to battle them in the last map, this is where they should feel a lot more comfortable, though.
Well, the operator of Toronto has been heard. A little bit of a trade-off as they don't fully clear out market with the drone being destroyed. And the reposition as well to cover them walking through gets smoked off. So Liquid evidently want to posture some control over market, but are they going to push into it? Because there's 2 players waiting for them to do so. You can see Glove has got a headshot angle there on the map towards the B site with his teammate ready to trade out or just add it up with him. Take as much damage as they can. I like the swap over. The one weaker weapon they had was in the hands of Scream, and they decide, being as he's going to be holding a fairly long range angle, it makes sense for him to get a Vandal. Short control going to be himself and Yampy, 2 very, very dangerous players, regardless of the weapon in their hand. We saw that when they had the Sheriffs in play. Toronto smoked off, won't be able to do anything. He's forced back. Now they've got the split they want. And on the site, oh, the timing caught them off guard. Solkis with the kill after the tag came through. Mites wants to do something. That flash is so good, though. And Team Liquid, they just get a site control so easily. And the one opportunity to pull something back is a miss.
I almost wonder if that's the point where you just decide to save. Like you've lost a couple of players. You're playing up against a 5 versus 3 after plant. The retakes I've seen from Oxygen previously also have not been fantastic. Like they like to give this site up quite often, but without any utility really being remaining, I don't see how they get anything done in this round. And by the looks of it already, they've fallen into some exits and definitely a few opportunities. You see that TP actually really regularly come out from Angel as well. It's something that, even if he just gets cancelled, gives away a lot of the positions within the site. But that's a round that, again, it already starts to make me worry a little bit for Oxygen because, again, in terms of the read, what? Okay, well, there's the operator gone, Mitch. See you later. Soulcast is on form today.
You know, the point I was forming as well, and it still stands, is how good of a setup they had when saving these weapons. You had Glove in market holding mid so that nobody could push Turco, who was down in Pizza, holding, or actually past Pizza rather, the right corner of the middle arch to cover anybody pushing through middle to come behind and kill Toronto, which meant all that Toronto had to worry about was right in front of him. And with an operator on that range, the point was, that's a pretty great angle to hold. Didn't work out that way though. And I think as well, the decision-making of Oxygen, they knew immediately they were going to save that when it went to a 3v5. They just left it so that if Liquid wanted to overextend and give them a way back into the round, hell, they could, but they didn't. And now look at this push, very early, very aggressive, and a rifle lost. Turco not going to be able to do anything about that. He has the res, but no opportunity to pop it off. And even a Spectre duel on long range grants them a lot of damage.
Yeah, not really the weapon that you want to have in those scenarios, but it almost just works as an alarm system. He may not be the turret himself, but he is almost acting as the same role, just trying to deny things. Okay, the crisp shots of Soulcast may have disappeared, at least for the moment, but Zistow again, 1v5, and what do you even do in those scenarios? Scream, as said, I am pretty certain he's already booked his flight to Iceland, and he's just ready to get on the plane, because the way that he is playing, like, we know the level of Scream, but it almost just looks like he's had enough and has just decided this is over. 4-1. It's still very early stages, and we are going to get an investment once again from Oxygen. Toronto with his operator once more, but I don't know. Like, this doesn't look like the Oxygen we're used to seeing. I think they need one of those rounds that almost just gets you pumped up, like a hero play, someone to get the mood a little bit better, because thus far they've just looked down in the dumps.
They definitely have. And, you know, one of the things I'll say when it comes to Team Liquid right now, that previous round might not have looked that... Oh, hold on. This is going to be a flash into the smoke. It's going to be a peek around. The turret doesn't see anyone. Oh, but the jump out from Scream's dangerous. He has his ult, and that's going to be popped. He farmed this in the previous round, and now they get a kill because of it. The damage he did, the aggression, the push through, the info as well. They know there's a player on the left side. It's going to be popped up with the Hunter's Fury to take Zisto down. Toronto recovers what he can. Turco wants to go out and take an aggressive duel. The wall stops him from seeing as they sideswipe out the left side. Scream's good for a double from that position before going down to a shock dart. And it's all on to Toronto. He's been fantastic in the start of this round, but now 2 shots need to be hit. And it won't be a Yampy-style clutch. He's got his knives in his back pocket, and that's what he wants to pull out, but nobody's challenging him. Team Liquid are going to make him make the first move. Oh, the updraft above. He doesn't see him. Just a pixel between them. That could have been Link dealt with, but instead the crossfire remains strong. And as he's seen, Toronto gets shot in the back pursuing his victim. 5-1. Team Liquid, they're looking just beautiful right now. And on every single front, individually, Scream and Yampy have been absolutely massive. Link showed up on the previous map for a bunch of massive A-holds, and it seems like every time that Oxygen gets some sort of foothold, they get around like the pistol, immediately it's answered back on. They get a couple of kills go their way, and it's either Scream or Yampy to just pull it back with 2 or 3 of their own and put their team into the advantageous spot again and again.
And that's the thing. We saw some of the like earlier matches out from Liquid. It looked like maybe things were a little bit off, like they would lose some sillier clutches. Okay. Well, yeah, you know, it's up against pistols. A little bit of style being thrown in. Nice shot from Zisto, actually. You almost don't see that he gets a kill there, but he's been playing in through mid.
One enemy remaining.
Trying to get aggressive in this round. Not really a problem. But yeah, I think even just like the players that we don't necessarily highlight every single time, like you just look at the way that they play those after plants. The crossfire, no risks taken. It just looks like Liquid have been slowly but surely like improving all of the minor details of their game that we talked about as problems previously. And now are actually starting to look like a finished product, which, considering the amount of time that they've had with Yampy, is really scary. Because, like, even when we saw them like a week or so ago when they played versus Fnatic, sure, that game was mostly for cash and maybe a little bit of seeding, but they didn't look anywhere near this good.
One of the other problems you have to highlight is that for Team Liquid right now, they're playing an aggressive game, but not a stupid one.
Yeah.
Like, some teams will get the advantage. They'll feel like they're so much better, and they'll just start running around and basically deathmatching. That's not what's happening here. Liquid are tending towards more aggressive strategies, certainly, but that's what they should be doing. When you're owning the way that they are, absolutely. Oh, no! Toronto, he wants to find a bit of space, you know, go in for that right side, peek down B, get them the advantage, dash out of there. It all looks so good on paper, but when you run into Yampy, it looks very bad very quickly. Mitez holding up close as well, as in danger. No support here. He goes down. That's the utility gone out of the round. The Cosmic Divide that could play big into retakes. And there are 4 players. They're about to drone him out as well. Oh, Mitez, you're in trouble. 5 players here now as the drone comes in. But Mitez gets a double. Okay, that's worth it. Man advantage is now theirs. Ultimate's out of the game. They've taken down the Killjoy. The Yampy's not so much important here. But the lockdown, that could have given the A side for free. That could have granted them a free post plant. But now that Hunter's Fury can be used to try and find more information, stop the push, and gain them a foothold on the round as they push up behind. This is huge for Oxygen. The best they've looked so far. Closing it out will be difficult. They need to avoid giving fights until Zistow makes that big flank. But Turco, he got a little bit greedy. He saw that tag come through and felt the kill was his, but it wasn't. Glove distracting the shot from above as the swing comes out, but it's only good for a single. Now Glove has to clutch it. They know exactly where he is. 15 seconds, they can safely plant it. No utility to deal with them. The Hunter's Fury, everything he had was already used in the early round. Here's an ult from Scream, a headshot, but he still has 2 players to take down, and with 23 HP being tagged up by that recon, there wasn't a damn chance. 7-1. It's starting to feel really, really scary for Oxygen, Tom. This is a team that has beaten the second best in the region, the best in their region, overcoming Footballers for what was definitely a huge milestone for this team to make it to where they are now. And now they've got 1 round out of the last 21.
Yeah, I feel like if you say it like that, it doesn't sound great, does it? No, they are in a rough spot.
I don't think there is a way to say it. They're 100% on pistol rounds in this map, which is good.
Yeah, that's a good sign. You know what? They're pretty good at the attack of this map. Yeah, they're looking out of it at this stage, and I think even in that round, like, they're making all-in plays, like very risky plays, like the push all the way through. You can see that Liquid are more than prepared for everything they're attempting, even expecting players to be close, and Mitez still manages to get away with 2. This is a better start, though. Glove, finding an opener. Now, you look at the weaponry that they currently have. It's not great, but they do have a few ultimates available to them. Maybe this could give things away. Soulcast, so crisp, though, to take down Mitez, and there's going to be a response almost instantaneously as it turns things into a 3v3. The lockdown place to try and hold them back, and Zisto is going to be watching. He's going to find himself one even still, but the remaining players are going to have to back away.
You know, in a normal game, this is a very, very good round, but I'm gone past caring about damage done to the economy. You know, with these pistols, they've managed to get a lockdown in play, but they need to do more. They need to get around on the board. They need to start upsetting Liquid because they're maxed up on money. They're feeling good. Got to put a spanner in the works, and, well, we'll see if that's going to happen. Yampy up close with his ult in hand. You always believe in him in this position, and this might just be why. The trade even comes in when Turco hits that sheriff shot, an 8-1. I mean, yeah, say what you will about Turkish teams on the attack side in general. Certainly Oxygen on this map. But if you're only getting the 1 round, I'm not going to give you a snowball's chance. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think as well, like, the way that afterplan was actually played by Liquid, I do wonder if they had sort of spotted that there was a res in play, so they basically didn't give them a chance to turn that into a 3v2. They just played more aggressively, more in the face, to just go, okay, we have the better weapons. They haven't had a chance to cross and pick any of them up, so let's just deny them to get back into the site. It's arguably the closest round that we've had, other than the one that they actually managed to win. And, well, hey, if they get to 4, I would give them at least a hope in hell, but right now it just doesn't look like that's going to be possible. Yumpy again is going to go searching for the opener. A lot of stars placed to potentially try drag him in, stun him before he can get anything done. Now they do have Cam currently sat back, and he's actually not going to connect the shot. The first time I think I've said that all game.
You know, they even get the cam activated, spot them out, and Liquid, they played this one cautiously at the start. Oh, the TP! It's going to be spotted, it's going to be destroyed and dealt with, but they've gotten out the choke point in the meantime. The distraction game, the smokes, the cages, Zistow, good to get one around the edge, but what more can he do with low HP? Not a whole lot, apparently. Hold on, Turco! A double for him, Link's alone! He's spraying away and not connecting, and that's it! The round goes to Oxygen. They only lose the 1 player. Again, I want to point out Liquid. Their early approach to that round, they know there's a camera. They start shooting away, trying to destroy it in line. Eventually, they spotted him do. They put a nano swarm down, ensuring there's no player in the corner. They took a very slow approach to the round. It was, what, 1 minute 10, 1 minute 15 when they started to drone out and really look for the site. And that is what I'm talking about when I say this team is not kind of giving up and going, hey, let's just go kill them. They are still coming in pointed. They don't want a 13-10. They want a 13-1. And now at least 2 on the board for Oxygen. That won't be possible.
Yeah, they're still being meticulous, I think it is the best way to put it, but going into the beginning of this round, they've finally been quelled. At least the flood has been stopped for now, but still an awful lot still to do if they're going to make this map competitive. You can see Toronto still going to be lurking around the edge of the smoke. He wants to try and find a fight, give his team a bit of an advantage here. The thing is, the attempts are not really being changed by Liquid. They're still going to go for the early battle in towards the A site. They're still going to try and find the positioning of that cam, and Soulcast hoping he can find an entry, but if anything, he's still managed to force them back.
The Molly is going to hit Zistow on his rotate over. A flash comes in, which he dodges and looks to take down Scream. Unfortunately, that's an achievement that not many will manage all too easily. Mitez going to find that out the hard way as well. He pops up like whack-a-mole. And unfortunately, this one bites back. 3 versus 3. That's exactly what Liquid needed. And Oxygen, they slip up a little bit. The first kill fine, but Mitez up above. That's the man advantage back out of their hands. As the retake will be mounted with lots of utility coming through. Link catches out Toronto on short. And now it's only the players up above. A wall to grant them vision far and wide. And pop a res onto Mitez. How much is that going to really net for them? They've got to win these duels. The shock darts. Is that a double bounce vertical shock dart? Doesn't look like it'll come into play anyways. Jonas is sat there. I'd say with how quickly these rounds are going, he's like, oh guys, yeah, they're going to use my cool shock dart. Oh, the round's over. Never mind.
Well, I think Scream even kills the player rezzed through the wood as well. So if there was any chance, he just denied it with the spam. Again, another solid take, and I do love the way that even if they're not finding the opener necessarily in a lot of the kills they're getting, they're using those ultimates to just force really awkward positions for the players of Oxygen. They've not really looked comfortable throughout this series, just in the manner of how meticulous Liquid are currently being. Again, they're not allowing a lot of this A-site aggression, which is something, even in the pistol round, we saw attempted by Oxygen. They've denied the pressure that they try and put into mid. The aggressive B takes have normally ended in a dead player. If anything, we're just talking about how Liquid have had such a solid default that Oxygen are almost forced back into their shell, and they're still going to go running through. At this stage of the game, you almost have to expect someone to be here.
Well, this is it. All the pressure made over on the A site. 3 players spotted there. They're making a lot of noise. They think, you know what? In a couple of these rounds, Liquid have gone very direct. They've gone 5 players through a long. They've done it twice, I think, at this point. And so I guess they take the chances, right? Roll the dice and try to get the early flank like we'd seen them do down middle, albeit unsuccessfully, over in an eco round. This is it's a heartbreaking situation, but 3 on the board. Wrong. It's essential. Yep.
Oh, okay. All right, Toronto. Maybe they didn't get it wrong. I was thinking they've stacked their players on the other side of the map. They rotated everyone onto A after the pick went in the other direction. They left Toronto to try and be that raid boss, that one defender of this site. And now they've got to be careful. The tag through onto Zisto has just pulled this one apart. Turco tries to get back into the site on his own, and Mitez is just a little bit too far behind. He's left into a 1v2, Mitch, and they desperately need a third.
Oh, they do so badly. Cryptix and Solkis just grouped up on the side as well. This is a really tough one to make work. He's going to pull his stars back, but he has to wait a while before he can even use them. And with the Cosmic Divide for backside, they know where he is. With that alarm bot, there's no way. There's 2 players stacked on top of each other. He can't isolate the fight. He can't take them both down. You'd even have to jump out to face them perfectly. Unlucky. 10-2. Oxygen. Well, I said I couldn't possibly believe in them if they had 1 Tom. I'll be honest, not much has changed with the second on the board. But it was such a valiant attempt by Toronto, and I think he had to go aggressive there. When they popped that lockdown into play, falling back towards spawn, playing the retake, it was a decision. Sure, it's feasible, but on his way, he was likely to be caught anyways if they pushed on through, and being the only player there, he wanted to make that hero play. But it definitely didn't work.
I think as well, the initial read just comes out because most rounds have ended on A. Like, Liquid have really been focusing on that side of the map. And I sort of mentioned it earlier, I haven't been massively impressed with Oxygen's attempt at retakes. But it also just seems that Liquid are doing very well in their post plant, something that I think that they've definitely worked on coming into like the latter stages of this event. So, yeah, thoroughly impressed with Liquid, but Oxygen, it's one hell of a mountain to climb. A map down, 8 rounds behind, and only 3 for Liquid to take themselves through to Iceland. It's going to be a mid-take, the spike rotating in towards B, where we do see a fair amount of the utility, and also Scream and Yumpy. So again, it looks like the read is almost too solid for the side of Liquid.
Yeah, any of these things on their own, utility in a pistol round's always scary. The turret even can do quite a considerable amount of damage. And then you look at the fact that not only is it that, it's Scream, it's Yampy, again, on their own, very dangerous foes. Zistow, he's lurking outside of A. This hasn't actually spotted him on the recon, so he might try to make a sneaky play on through while the rest of the team is distracting on B and pick up the rotates. Scream is the first to eliminate Toronto, the molly to slow them, the smoke to block them, and now this is where you would imagine Zistow makes a big play, but no, it's not to be, and Liquid, they just tear them apart. Zistow was caught out rotating the long way around. I guess he'd been tagged up in an earlier fight off screen with Link because he's now on 49 HP. And, well, yeah, he gets 1 kill, but there's 3 more to go, and they've just blocked him out completely. Closed the door right in his face.
They definitely know where he is, that's for sure. He's just going to walk straight into a crossfire. Again, I have to say, Liquid just look like they've got every single thing planned. Like, they're reading things off a script at this stage. Like, Oxygen have just not been able to pull any wool over their eyes, even with like small attempted fakes in this round. Liquid just didn't budge. They didn't move a single player. They just left everybody on that B site knowing that this is where the play was going to come in. And hey, you have to give props to them that they're just prepared by the looks of it. And while 11-2, no surprise that we're at least going to see some sort of investment here from Oxygen. But actually, by the looks of it, I think they're going to play for overtime, which I guess there's no good solution here, but I'm surprised. I thought we would have seen a force.
Well, at least it tells you mentally this team is not broken. They may have just secured a total of 3 rounds so far in this series and be on the verge of losing their potential spot over in Iceland, but they're not going to just count themselves out. They're willing to fight all the way, believe in the game plan. But sometimes you need a lot more than a game plan, and right now you're seeing them being torn apart as expected. Again, they're not really investing into this one, but it's not a pretty sight when they only get the 1 kill. 12-2. Liquid, they can do what they want. They can play this as a bonus. They can invest up. They could try to play a 5v5 knife fight. It doesn't much matter because they've got so much room to maneuver. 10 rounds in a row needed for Oxygen to pull this one back.
I would never predicted this. Whether you believe that Liquid were going to come through all the way from Europe to make it through to this stage to fight for EMEA, whether you believe that they had a chance versus FPX, a team that we've expected to be one of the best teams within maybe even the world. Like, we wanted to see them fight Iceland. I don't think there's anyone who didn't. I don't believe anybody expected that over 2 maps we were going to see Oxygen get maybe only 2 rounds. Like, that was just not plausible at all. Yumpy again is already going to kick things off as Glove is down and out. He will have to watch from the sidelines and hope that his team can help them survive a little bit longer. As now we're going to see some utility expended. Toronto trying to sneak his way through. Scream pulled off the angle, but there's still a player lurking within the smoke. Mitez has been able to find one at least, and Link is going to be there to trade. This is looking like a better round from Oxygen, but there's Soulcast to put another in the dirt.
Yeah, see, the thing is, it's so close even when there's weaker weapons in play. That's the scary thing. Liquid able to pull it back now and get 2 Vandals for what could be a retake if they don't just go out for the fights right away. Mitez, oh, he swings out for more. 3 kills on the board. That's what we needed. Oxygen now have the advantage, and with Scream, 30 HP, hey, he's a Phoenix. Hot hands, wall, he can heal, but he's already used those. So instead, he's left now with virtually no health, no ultimate to get him some sort of an advantage to pull back into the round. This was a bonus. This was a weaker buy for a lot of the Liquid guys. And he's got... There's no way he goes in with an operator. There's no way. He's out of here. He's bailing down the mid. I could see it, though. 12-2 up, you're like, now I can one-shot them.
There was a part of me that was like, is he going to try and end this in style? Is he going to try and be the screaming team once again? Something that I think is clear to see from today is nowhere near the case anymore. He is a part of a system, a pretty important piece. But yeah, not going to do it this time. They are making sure that there is no way that Oxygen get back into this. At least a shining light, something for Oxygen to get behind. We've not seen anywhere near the best of this roster today. Like, I don't want to sit here and say like we've seen something like, oh yeah, you know, Europe, they're the better, blah blah blah. I don't care. Like, we have seen that this Oxygen side are a strong roster. Today, they've been outclassed. But if Liquid give them an opening, if Liquid give them a way back in, they can build up some momentum. Hey, I'm not going to call the comeback, but it is possible.
I mean, we can't say enough that this is the team that beat FPX 13-7 and 13-5. They dismantled them. Liquid have been looking damn good recently. We said after just... Oh, no, Zistow. Oh, no. That Phoenix Molly is so good, and we've seen that used in North America even just yesterday for some massive plays. And here it is again. Man, Oxygen traded out. 4v4 rather, but Mitez has got low HP, goes up against the operator. Hey, it's a better fight for him to take, I suppose, but the first bullet does hit and it takes him down. Man advantage now to play with defenders not having a bunch of control. Look at this massive gap over towards short and garden. Those guys can push on through and get a lot. The window's still closed though, so wrapping into spawn was pretty much the only option without giving away a lot of information and making a lot of noise. And of course, that player you're seeing on the radar is down below. So when they break it, they're not going to see him. They have to jump down, and Link is hearing it. He's communicating to his teammates. This is where he has an option for another massive play. He did it in the previous map. There's the first, but he's now being spotted. The wall bangs are dangerous from above and beside. And still oh no, Yerpy! That timing is perfect. He's looking to close it out here, and now with the knives, not going to get it done. Toronto running away with knife in hand, but he runs right into the waiting arms of Solkis. That is the game. 13-3. Team Liquid absolutely demolish Oxygen. They've been off the radar in the EU scene for quite some time, but they finally resurfaced. And now the first representative of EMEA in Masters 2 will be Team